G'day everybody and welcome back to game number 3, the decider here in the G1 League. We have got ourselves a match between Fnatic and Kaipi. For those of you just tuning in, it is currently tied 1 game apiece. We're here in the game decider partway through the draft, but joining me is Vikramond, and we've seen 2 Ursa games so far. Do we get ourselves a 3rd Ursa game? Is probably the first question I have to ask.
I think that's the question on everybody's lips, gods. Absolutely. They took us 2 games to hear the Song of Angry Bears, but I actually have to say, because Kaipi have drafted Clockwork this time for Bone 7, I think our chances for Ursa have dropped just a tiny bit, if solely because Ursa needs Blink Dagger to actually get inside of those cogs to do damage to anybody in them. There's a little bit of that anti-synergy between Clockwork and Ursa that make it a slightly less likely pick, but I don't think either of us predicted that Kaipi would take it in the 2nd draft, so who knows? Maybe we will have the full trifecta of Ursa action.
And the other bad hero for Ursa is going to be Bane. It happened in game 1 where Bane was a nice little counter, get BKB, Fiend's Grip still goes through, and even before then, you have Fiend's Grip for when he goes in, you have Enfeeble. Nightmare's great at, well, saving whoever he goes on. You don't have an easy way to get rid of it. I guess Earthshock does get rid of it, but hey, it does shoot through a lot of mana. So I think all in all, it's unlikely that Kaipi go for it. I think they were looking maybe towards the Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage now banned out.
Yeah, Anti-Mage would have been a good selection. Smart ban by Fnatic, and I actually like both of these teams' lineups. Once again, they sort of draft up Fnatic at the Bane. That Zizou, I mean, it is one of his best heroes. In last game, we saw him perform excellently. But Kaipi have a lot of heroes that they're good with, too. I like Arise on Magnus a lot, just because I feel like he's a little bit more of a developing player, and Magnus is a very good hero to just do a ton with good positioning. And that's really what Arise has, I think, great positioning. He's less of that sort of balls-to-the-wall playmaker role that some mids like Korok or Dendi are, and more of just solid overall participation in teamfights, which is exactly what you want Magnus for. Bone 7's Clockwork, of course, you and I have discussed already quite a bit. It's very, very excellent. He's always in the right place at the right time. And Pylai Die on this Nyx Assassin, I mean, I actually didn't really think about him much as a player before this series, but it turns out whenever he has a hero who has a spell that goes in a line, that line is always correct. He must be a geometry professor.
Yeah, he was something. He really sort of stepped it up in game 1. Even though they went on to lose that game, him and Bone 7 sort of still stood out as really strong individual players. So definitely. We'll see which direction Eternal Envy, well, I say Eternal Envy's team, he's just because he's such a character, but we see Kaipi go, I guess Zizou the captain. As for Fnatic, they've got the potential to go for some strong push here with the Chen. I imagine they want to take down some early towers, but at the same time, the big timing from Kaipi is going to come when Mag gets up a Blink Dagger, something which he won't have problems doing, considering he's most likely going to be a solo mid when they have a Clockwork.
Yeah, almost certainly. Now, Fnatic, yeah, I agree with you. They could pivot into sort of a more heavy push composition. Of course, that Lone Druid taken out first phase, something we already see very frequently in the Asian metagame, and something that's sort of starting to percolate over into the Western, just because Lone Druid is such a strong hero. The Lifestealer has not been banned. Wow, Fnatic really digging into their ban time, by the way. And I think you and I both know the exact discussion that they were having just now, which is bear or no bear. And they end up going no bear. They take out the Faceless Void.
Gyrocopter. There's your Envy hero. I don't think we see a support Gyrocopter. For one thing, you have Nyx Assassin, Gyrocopter. They don't really fit both as... They're both 4 position support. So this is going to be an Eternal Envy farming Gyrocopter.
Definitely. And I like this so far. And depending on... This also deflates a little bit of Fnatic's push potential. A lot of the remaining really good push heroes are ones that summon a lot of creeps, like Nature's Prophet, who's not banned, like Enigma, if they wanted to go for it. And that's not really... Actually, Enigma's impossible. They would have to run a Dignitas super greedy lineup to do that. But something like Nature's Prophet, I don't know. They do go for the Dragon Knight, so okay. The Gyrocopter won't be able to deflect the DK push, so it is the push after all. They could even fill this out with Juggernaut. We've seen Juggernaut solo mid coming from Fnatic before.
Yeah, Juggernaut solo mid, or DK also often goes into that solo mid role. At least at least the way I see the Asian teams play him, it's always solo mid. Chinese teams pick DK every now and then. The Filipino teams love him. The Southeast Asian teams do, but it's almost always solo mid. The European team have done a lot more safe lane DK. Though.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do think that it's entirely possible for them to run the solo mid DK, but when I've seen Fnatic pick up Jug, it's actually more recently been more of a mid role. Yep. But yeah, I mean, either way, if they do take that Juggernaut, I would love to see that, because Gyro, like I said, really good against pet heroes, but not that great against deflating a Dragon Knight Juggernaut push. And Juggernaut can heal. I mean, obviously healing ward, just an amazing pushing tool.
I think what they maybe need is something like a Luna, because you need something to boost up your damage. Because right now, even if you go for the Juggernaut, sure, you have tanky heroes. You have Darkseer, You have a mech buyer in Chen as well as Dark, so you can maybe get a pipe. You have DK who does okay damage, but DK Juggernaut doesn't feel like enough damage to bring down towers fast enough. Something like a Luna will give you the aura and also be a nice front line, basically physical damage.
Yeah, I think the Luna's a great idea. They don't play Luna that much, but yeah, and the more I think about it, the more I like it. I mean, it's good against Clockwork, because unlike Juggernaut or Dragon Knight, he could sort of... I mean, well, Dragon Knight in his ultimate form can get in there, but you can't shoot him from outside of cogs. You can with the Luna. It gives them very good level 1 fighting potential in the early levels. We do see Shadow Demon come out from Kaipi for their last support. Surprised that he made it this far, actually. Just lots of bans focused on mids and carries, basically.
Yeah. The other big hero for Fnatic, I'd say, is Lifestealer. He's been untouched. You could easily run him as a carry. He's actually decent at pushing, but they're going to go Puck, so... The solo mid Puck, not played by No-Tail, because I think No-Tail's their only Chen player, as far as I know.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we'll see how things unravel with these bans and picks for Fnatic. It is good. It's not all-out push. It seems to me they just want to... No. They have the option to take down early towers with a Chen, but more importantly, up against a Mac who can just win a team fight on his own. If Chen doesn't get caught, you sit back, you get your hand of God off, you pop the mech, and you can somewhat... It's not a full reset, but at least keeps people alive long enough. It keeps maybe Darkseer, Puck, DK, whoever's in the front line getting caught alive long enough so that they can cast a stun, Puck can pop his silence, maybe a Dream Call off, and you can turn the fight around.
Definitely. I agree that they have a lot of strong teamfight tools, but in my opinion, Fnatic, they have 2 challenges to get through here. One is that Kaipi, anchored by this Clockwork and Magnus, can really just pick off Fnatic heroes before they have much of a response other than Hand of God. So they're going to have to be careful about positioning, and I would also say that even though they're no longer an all-in push lineup, they can't let this go too long. If Eternal Envy starts getting very, very buff indeed, I'm not sure Fnatic have that much in the way of strong responses against him. Dragon Knight is not going to out-carry it. Dragon Knight is really their only carry. Darkseer... famously bad against Gyrocopter, because his illusionary wall is almost meaningless against the Gyro, because Gyro doesn't build stats, he builds damage, and Gyro, the flak cannon, won't percolate over to the illusions. So I think in the DreamHack Invitational, because Gyrocopter was the ubiquitous hero of that tournament, Darkseer had a record of something like 1 in 13. It was shockingly bad.
It was I agree. It was absolutely awful. By the end of the tournament, it got picked up a bit because Dignitas was playing a lot of Darkseer for Universe. I think he ended up with maybe 4 or 5 wins, but overall it had a dreadful record. And that's actually a really good point. Gyrocopter was the flavor of the month. He kind of still is with the European teams. And yeah, not good against Darkseer. Like you say, I feel like it's a very good point. There's no way of dealing with the Gyrocopter late game if he really starts to get a lot of farm going his way. None of these carry heroes scale well. So Fnatic, they need to be getting a lot of ganks, a lot of sort of just early game pressure and not giving space for KP to sort of sit back, get the farm they want. If KP don't get pressured, Mag gets up Arcane Blink Dagger, Gyrocopter gets all the farm, they stack Ancients, Nyx Assassin doesn't get contested using pulls to get the early levels and farm, and then things will fall apart for Fnatic. So they need to make something happen in the first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether that means getting all 3 outer towers down and securing map control along the lines of what we saw Kaipi do in Game 2, or whether that means Hani going ham and winning mid substantially and then moving to the other lanes, ganking Eternal Envy, one of those routes needs to sort of occur. Now, they do have good tools for that. Puck, strong against Magnus, both in lane and in general. Waning Rift and Dream Coil, 2 very strong abilities against Magnus. Even Phase Shift, honestly, is no joke. Just because you can duck out the shockwaves, get away from a lot of Magnus's repositioning and damage. So, much I think rests on Hani's shoulders, frankly, if they're not planning to sort of all-out push. If he does well, Fnatic are going to look immaculate. If he has a tough time, I really worry about it.
Yeah, Hani is the X-Factor here. None of the other heroes are great gankers. They don't really move around the map, apart from maybe some early Chen smoke ganks. But all in all, Chen is not a mobile hero. It comes down to Hani to set up kills, to set up team fights. I guess maybe we see the Shadowblade DK build where you can look to set up kills and fights for your team if you get an early Shadowblade, but not generally how we see these Western teams play with the DK. I remember seeing VP go for a no Flame Breath, which was just an absolute shock for me.
That was pretty controversial, if memory serves.
Yeah, it was like a straight arm. I think they won one game with it, and then later on I saw it happen in a game which they lost, but they actually won a game with it. And I was just like, whoa, what is this?
Airman on VP really likes going carry heroes and then not taking the ability that people say is the best one. Like his Juggernaut, he never takes more than 1 rank of Blade Fury. I guess we should introduce the teams. I'll go ahead and do Kaipi. So The tri-lane will most likely be composed of Eternal Envy on this farming gyrocopter role, then Pylai Dai reprising his role from game 1, which is a very impressive Nyx Assassin, and Zizu no longer on the Bane, but we will see him on another strong support, the Shadow Demon. That leaves Arise to go up in the middle with this Magnus, and Bone 7 will be playing the solo lane Clockwork.
Yep, for Fnatic, the team looking to get this 2-1 win, deny it from KP. We have got Notel playing the Chen. He's going to be going in the jungle. He's going to get scouted out here nice and early, so they know exactly where that ward is. Do they have sentries? No sentries just yet. They can bring some out if they want to.
Yeah, elsewhere, and they know where it is.
Elsewhere on the Fnatic side, we've got Honey playing the Puck, Trixie on the Darkseer. We have got Era playing the safe lane farming DK, and Fly on the Bane. And, well, most importantly, we've got some Pinoy bottle crowing happening. 2 couriers, 1 already flying.
Yep.
I remember like people saying like if you're going to bottle crow right off the bat, why not just get bottle as your first item? But he goes for the non-talisman.
Huh, yeah, interesting. They've pulled, again, I think Fnatic realized that it's so important for them to win this middle lane. And this is something we've seen a lot of people do on Puck, actually. Go heavier on the stats early to dominate the lane, because Puck is not bad at doing damage, actually. Yeah. He's got a pretty good auto attack, pretty decent damage. And this is the second time in a couple days that I've seen it. We saw Korok do this to dominate a Queen of Pain, and I think Hani, they've pulled basically 200 on him in the form of these healing items, and that'll really give him the advantage over Arise. Yeah,
Arise will be put. It'll give an advantage, but Arise still easily farms up his bottle. He only needs 2 creeps, which is 2 shockwaves, although he misses that first creep. But he should be able to easily get his bottle. Even if he's not getting creeps, he still has it around the 2.5 minute mark. So it's not going to be a big problem for him. Honey, this would more help him with his early last hitting.
I definitely agree, and I would say that also around level 3 we could see Hani try to sort of secure a kill with this. He's just going to, right now, whenever he has the opportunity in the space of last hitting to sort of harass Arise, he's going to. And he's going to seek the moment at which Arise's bottle is not on the player, and then jump in immediately. And I think Puck can actually kill Magnus in that situation. One of the few heroes... the thing about Mag is he like never loses mid, but he actually can lose mid to Puck.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Mag picks up an early point in Empower, which is nice for the last hitting, but it means later on when gank's happening, you have less points in Skewer, and Skewer, you need that range, so it's a risky play, but as long as there's no ganks and rotations from Fnatic, it pays off. And looking at the Fnatic side, Chen is really the only hero who may gank him.
Yeah. You can do some sort of Chen Bane smoke, but Bane is just not that great of a smoke up and let's go kill people hero until he gets level 6.
Well, Trixie bottom lane has been completely zoned out from XP, which is good news for KP. And I think he needs to just go to the jungle. He's sort of wasted too much time. Sure, there's a Chen, but there's plenty of camps to go between those 2 heroes.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't put Trixie in the jungle along with No Tail on the Chen. That's a little weird to me. I feel like, yeah, I agree with you. You can pull and have Chen farming and have Darkseer farming. It's not ideal, but Trixie would have more XP than he has now, which I guess is kind of a tautology because he has 0 XP right
Nice now. At top lane. Era got down to about 100 HP, lasting onto tower. He tried to salve up, and the rocket cancelled it.
Ooh, really? I mean, Bone 7's Clock. He's just so on point. He has really good, like, global awareness, and Clock is a hero that really rewards having good global awareness.
He gets pulled both Tangos and Salve from the Bane, so he'll think twice before next time he uses a Salve, but... Right now, Fnatic, these lanes, I mean, nothing really too out of the ordinary from either team. Bone 7 at top lane has got a lot more XP than this Darkseer, though, so KP with the slight edge as far as off-laners go, at least.
And that's a big deal, honestly. A very slowly developing Darkseer. I mean, still... Last time we checked on him, he had 0 XP. Trixie still has 0 XP. I don't know. I almost feel like if I'm Trixie, I consider just leaving. The nice thing about keeping Darkseer here is even if he doesn't level, Darkseer can catch up okay, and this ensures that their tier 1 tower is safe. Yeah, and they may consider that enough of an incentive to keep him here.
No-Tail's playing some sick farming jungle Chen. He just stacked 2 camps at once, one using his group, one using his hero.
Wow.
And it's going to take the Tornado creep, so he can actually farm off these stacks using the Tornado, and he's just farming. He has not left the lane. He's got well, he's tied highest CS in the game. He's looking to get a fast level 5, level 6. Then we probably look to see him push down towers, and I think it's because they haven't got the best ganking lineup. This is where Chen can farm and then just sit back and then come sort of get involved more like... I mean, he got the Dark Troll, not the Tornado, but also another great sort of flash farming neutral.
Absolutely. I mean, the ability to farm to summon those skeleton babies is quite significant. I actually really like this move from No-Tail to go for this hard farming Chen, as you pointed out. He actually does smoke up, but it's sort of like he finds the timing. I think now that he has the Dark Troll, he feels so much better about killing Clockwork, because it becomes a game of chicken. As soon as Clockwork pops the cogs and tries to get out, that's when you actually pop the net on him. And that's a possibility. I think they might be able to get this kill.
Yeah, stun should lead things off here, and they're going to be able to at least do a lot of damage to Bone 7. Cogs will just stall. No, not even going to happen. Easy first blood.
Yeah, no problem at all. The Dark Troll Warlord gives No-Tail the tools to do it, and he's just going to go right back to farming that jungle. Fnatic's strategy is not so much let's dominate the kill board, as it is to get kills where we can, keep the game mostly in stasis, and then find the timing push.
Yeah.
Dragon Knight is 6, Chen has 3 creeps, and we could just push, push, push. And until then, they want to get kills where they can, but they don't want to have like a hugely aggressive game.
No, I definitely agree there. And with this, Chen, yeah, like you say, right back to the jungle, more farm going his way. He's going to hit a pretty fast level 5, level 6. And for Fnatic, that's sort of playing to the strength of their lineup, because they don't want to really go early game aggression and ganks, because Puck's a hero who you need to be level 6, level 7, even get a couple more levels to get more points in both nukes. Yeah. You really peak out at level 10. That's where you have your max orb as well as Waiting Rift. Level 8, level 9, you still got a lot of damage. That's where we want to see Fnatic taking team fights, and that's where Chen will be probably level 6 with Arcane Boots, maybe a mech, and their group up and push will be really deadly.
Yep, and they are going to try to get another kill on Bone 7. I like this. It's don't try to get kills where you're not likely to get them. Get them where they are, you are likely to get them. 3 TPs from Kaipi. They may lose Bone 7, but they want Fnatic to pay dearly for this. Envy comes in, but he unfortunately TP'd probably on the wrong side of the tower to actually get the kill.
RP on 2.
Ooh, RP! That'll hit on Fly and on No-Tail. The Rocket Barrage to follow, and I was totally wrong. With the rotation from Arise, and that's very, very smart, they managed to pick up those 2 kills, and very good for Kaipi. Definitely turning it around at Fnatic.
They turn it around a bit. I don't think it's the biggest pickup in the world. They committed 5 heroes to killing the 2 supports, so end of the day, it's going to get Darkseid levels, and he's only level 2, so he's going to be, well, bottom lane's empty, sweet. There's his, like some of his first XP of the game.
Yeah, you're totally right, Gods. It's an important opportunity for Fnatic to, even just to get KP to commit so many resources to try to turn that around, to just generate space for the heroes that are having a lot more trouble. So, good for KP to not just take the Clockwork loss, but of course, you're right, the flip side is that the Darkseer now level 3.
I know Envy talks a lot. It's one of the things where I met him. He always talks about carry heroes having TP scrolls early and going to the fights. The problem is there. He TP'd in and there was no real disable zip to set up a kill until Mag came in. If Mag doesn't come, that's 3 TPs for absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
So it was a good thing Arise did rotate. Otherwise, 4 heroes were at top and not a single kill was happened.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, this is a strength of Kaipi in general. I talked about how Bone 7 has good map awareness, but just in general, all these heroes, they seem to just be able to by themselves figure out, like, where do I need to be? Yeah. How can I make myself useful? And it's rare that they do stuff like, like TP 3 people in and get nothing. Usually, if they do that mass TP, it's with a purpose, and Arise definitely being an important part of that game plan there.
Well, we'll see where Fnatic look to sort of go from here. It is going to be Arise with Arcane Boots.
In a lot of trouble. Oh. Nice! Wow, good TP. Really smart.
Caught the end of that one as Trixie. He escapes as a big 3-man gang.
Yeah, he actually, Pylai again. Pylai is like the best impaler in the freaking game, Gods. He baited out the Surge, immediately impaled it, wasted pretty much all of the Surge time. Eternal Envy covers Trixie's escape route with the call down, but Trixie, like cool as a cucumber, just immediately uses TP and gets out. And I think Bone 7 probably screwed.
He doesn't have any tricks up his sleeve to get out of this one, I don't think. Tornado, going to set that off. Instant follow. Chen catches himself inside the cogs to make sure he doesn't get blocked out. Mag's actually rotated in, catches
wow, what an RP.
Flame Breath, though, is there. And I don't know if this is going to go too well for Arise. He's already used up his skewer, and Arise, yeah. It was a great RP, but it's one of those things where, well, you don't actually kill anyone. And he pays for it with his own life.
That time, I mean, nobody TP'd over, basically. Yeah. You don't have enough mana to TP, and actually Zizou in a lot of trouble. He's going to get picked up by Trixie. Wow, a critical kill. Trixie goes up to level 5.5. Call down will come down. I don't think he can actually make it out the way he did last time. No. A kill picked up for Eternal Envy, but that top trade cost them dearly. Fnatic, Gods, we talked about the timing push. Here it is. They're going to get this tier 2, I think. Yeah,
and if Gyrocopter TPs, that gets turned around, but the beauty was that Darkseer was distracting them. We had Darkseer just not at the fight, causing issues at bottom lane, and as a result, Gyrocopter didn't TP in to combo with the Mag RP. So really nice play coming out from Trixie on the Darkseer.
Yeah, Fnatic just increasing the stress levels on Kaipi, preventing that was when Kaipi needed the 3-man TP, and Shadow Demon didn't have the mana to, and the other Envy and Pylai were just sort of occupied, and so excellent play overall by Fnatic securing. That was a huge swing. I mean, 2 towers and the kill advantage. If you look at the graph, it just plummets at that point.
Oh yeah, quick drop down to 4k gold lead for Fnatic as we're going to have a fast mech coming from No-Tail. Doesn't bother with the arcane boots, which seems to be the way most gens are sort of going nowadays. Get the mech as fast as possible just because of how powerful a tool it is, and when it comes to teamfights, you have to be a bit more conservative with your mana usage.
Yeah, the earlier your 5-man Dota comes, the earlier you want the mechanism. Arcane Boots is more of a sustained item, but in this case, Fnatic sort of want to survive these engagements, and mech is going to be critical for that. Envy with the Morbid Mask first.
Fast Helm the Dominator. He's going to look to stack Ancients, and I think he's used to stacking Ancients, so he's not going to have any problems with this.
Shots fired.
That's not shots fired. It's real talk. He stacked Ancients for a good 2 months of his Dota 2 career. That's shots fired. He did more than that. Yeah. No. This is he's probably complaining like, "Come on, guys, why aren't my support stacking? I've got to get a Helm of the Dominator for this." But
if you want something done right, and in this case it's stacking Ancients, you have to do it yourself. But the flip side of the early Helm of the Dom is it's so much less efficiency for actual fights. And here we go, Hani coming in, nice Waning Rift and the Dreamcoil. Trixie, oh my god, is that 4 TPs? Yes, it is. Envy pops down the call down, but I don't think he's going to survive here. Nice disruption, and Trixie, he does get RP'd. They turn this around, actually. Envy survives, Trixie dies.
The orb missed. Well, not the orb missed. The orb was used for scouting to try and find Envy, so it didn't get any damage from it, and they needed that damage. Otherwise, they don't get that kill.
Yeah, nice job, Kaipi. I'm not 100% confident that all 5 players needed to be there.
They're big on these 5-man TPs.
Home in danger, carry in danger, and they came in and protected it.
Yep. Well, Fnatic, once again, they have a small little loss in one lane. They look to trade in another. They're pushing down the mid lane with 2 heroes and a big Chen army.
Bone 7 missed the hook on Hani, unfortunately. Did Hani actually... Oh, nice. He actually phase shifted at the same time as the hook.
I missed that one. Keeping an eye on mid lane. Looks like Fnatic will not be able to push right now. Pushing mid always a lot harder than those side lanes, but same story at bottom lane. KP can't push that tier 1.
But Eris here, he's got Armlet, so it's that very new school Loda-esque Armlet DK, and it's okay, it's good for pushing, because, ooh, actually Envy, Fly gets no time at all, but unfortunately he's brought down just by the Dark Troll Warlord, basically. Pyladai trying to turn it around on Fly. Actually a Skewer coming in, but no RP from Arise. He doesn't have mana, nor does he have the cooldown ability. They still don't actually get Fly, and KP, this is going from bad to worse. Arise gets stunned out, that long duration Dragon Knight stun, the Waning Rift good for the last hit, and KP, I'm sure they felt that was less of a disaster than it eventually transpired to be.
Oh, the Nyx Assassin went in looking for the pickup, and Bane actually did end up dying there. What actually killed him? Clockwork Rocket. Wow, I didn't actually see the sniper. I saw the surge out, I'm like, oh wow, the Bane just lived, but Clockwork Rocket snipes him, but that could have been a 4 for nothing. It was really, really bad result
so,
for KP.
The fact that Bane lived as long as he did meant that Pyladai's attention was consumed by actually finding that kill on Fly. And I actually think that was a mistake, a fairly severe mistake, because Fly had already used his Fiend's Grip. It was immediately interrupted. So what was the point of really chasing out Bane when the rest of the fight was going so poorly?
Roshan going to get sound out by a Clockwork Rocket here. Can it? It just looks like they're bringing it down slow enough that KP can get here in time to contest this. They've got an RP. Nyx Assassin impaled. This is... I don't know if this is a fight that Fnatic want to take. Hookshot in. Bone 7's looking to fight this. Cogs keeps them
dropped off the exit completely. Here comes the RP, only on 1 somehow, and big Dreamcoil in response. This could actually be a disaster for KP, but Fnatic, it looks like they're disengaging. Era kind of still wants this Roshan. They're all low is the problem here. Envy, he's right on top of Era, but he gets stunned out. They're actually both taking a lot of damage. Envy, he gets picked up by the dragon, the Flame Breath, and Hani just cleaning up, mopping up the KP heroes. Hani at this point is very, very substantial. Actually, he still doesn't have his Blink Dagger in his inventory, weirdly enough. But KP, once again, just paying dearly for their attempts at getting these teamfights.
Yeah, looks like Nyx Assassin just TP'd out in there in time, and well, DK buys back just to help get this Roshan right now. Well worth it. I mean, considering you're getting the Roshan gold, and it's going to be risky and slow to kill it without him, so no real loss there with an early game buyback. It cost him, what, 400 gold or something? Yeah, 470 gold. Nothing really.
The issue there, one of the many issues for that fight for KP was actually the Clockwork and Magnus worked at complete cross purposes.
Yeah.
The Cogs was very good in the sense that it bisected Fnatic with 2 people inside the pit, 2 people on the fringe and 1 person all the way outside. But RP on top of that ended up hitting only 1 because Hani definitely phase shifted out of it. And they dearly needed that RP to be better than it was.
Yeah, I think Mag just needed to wait for like 2-3 more seconds for the fight to sort of progress and then find a skewer into at least a 2-man RP. Ideally, you'd be able to find a 3-hero RP at that point.
Right. But because they were so spread, instead the RP was really lackluster, frankly, and consequently Fnatic were just able to outlast KP in the fight. In addition to the fact that Envy, I talked about the Helm of the Dom making him less useful in fights, and gods, I really think it's happening. Like, he's just dropped so quickly these last couple engagements.
Yeah, he started to stack some Ancients here. I'm not sure where his actually dominated creep is. It's not there by the Ancient stack, so we're not seeing it right now, and I agree. Helm of the Dominator, not really ideal. If you want to go for an early game fight, you either need a BKB or Drum, or you go for that Shadow Blade build, which a lot of players are doing on Gyrocopter, but he's gone for, in my opinion, a way too greedy option with the Helm of the Dominator.
Yeah, I really think for Envy, I would love to have seen maybe Drums. Oh, Magnus completely caught out.
Sentry.
He thought he was going to be okay, because obviously Invis, but ouch.
They're going to get a tier 1 top tower KP, but they lose a tier 2. They lose maybe even a couple tier 2s, and Mag as well.
I think they're going to lose this final outer tower.
Fnatic's
just timing push.
Mag can buy back, but at this point, that's going to slow down his Blink Dagger even more. So unless you're guaranteed a good team fight, you don't want to do it.
No, I don't think it would be smart to buy back Arise at all, especially now that it's in about 10 seconds. It's doubtful they'll even defend this tier 2, so I don't really see the point. They don't have a Fortify, so just Era's DOT damage alone, combined with the Skella Babies tanking the damage of the tower, is just... It's not really controvertible by KP. The good news is they're out of outer towers, but the bad news is they're out of outer towers.
Yeah, they're going to be sitting in their own base, and let's say, at least a 10k gold lead. It's up to 12k now. Envy looking to scout things out a bit. Pylite Die actually going to see this Ancient attempts coming out from Era. He's spotted somewhat of this Ancient stack. I don't know if he's going to be able to kill it off now, because KP...
Era's trapped by the Ancients.
He's got an Aegis here. I think he's almost trying to bait this out. He's quite happy to get engaged on here, as low as he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose his Aegis to Ancients, though.
No. That would be a little dark.
But
luckily he does have the armlet, which makes it more... He's actually getting sent back.
Yeah.
No Tail's like, Era, come on now. That little massaging hand of Chen stroking the back of Dragonite and sending him back to base.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see how it transpires from here on out for Fnatic. But the item progression is starting to look scary. When Hanny's got Ultimate Orb, Blink Dagger, 1200 gold on this puck. You've got DK, 3.2k gold. It's really a very solid lead. And now Darkseid, Trixie, who was struggling so much early on as far as getting farm, he's got a hood just from all this tower gold.
Right. This is a Darkseid that's getting pretty significant. I actually don't know if Envy even had a Helm of the Dom creep gods. I see one now. It's the Centaur Conqueror, and it's just sort of wandering around the regular jungle. And that's a little grim, because what it means is that KP don't feel confident that they have control of their own Ancient spawn. And they're correct to say so.
Yeah. They had a DK there, especially... He didn't have his ultimate, but if he does, he easily takes down that stack, and... Centaur more just being used for scanning. Maybe something which you can even bring to a team fight, having a 3-second stun duration.
Stun's not bad, definitely.
Or 2-second on heroes, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
I don't know. They've got to get Envy into this. This is the thing about Gyrocopter, gods. I don't know how I actually feel about a composition where Gyrocopter is your sole #1 and you have no other... like carry or semi-carry. I feel like Gyro excels in dual core compositions where you also have like Lifestealer or something. But when you pin your hopes on him, he's sometimes very underwhelming, especially early.
Or the good old Dignitas 5-core strategy.
Yes. There is
that. Gyrocopter works just fine.
Right. The more core heroes you have, the better it is. Dignitas, I mean, they're the kings of that. I've seen them.
They make some weird drafts work.
From both jungles. Trouble top. Arise actually gets Dream Coiled. He's going to skewer out, but here's the power of Dream Coil. You are screwed when you try to skewer out, and that's exactly what happens. Fiend's Grip to follow, Waning Rift, and
7 maybe screwed as well.
Bone 7, actually really nice.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. Era mid lane.
In trouble mid. He gets stunned off by the Centaur Conqueror. You talked about it in team fights, but he just turns this around on Eternal Envy. Goodness gracious! Actually, the stun coming out from Pylite Die. I think this might be enough. Yes, Era's Aegis is gone, but here comes Hani. Oh my God, Envy is low. One auto attack is enough. Hani continuing to try to chase. He is going to try to get Pylite Die. I don't think he can necessarily do this. Pylite Die good and pale yet again. Hani, I think he's going to give up the chase at this point, but Envy traded for an Aegis, not the trade you want.
Yeah, and Era now with his Sanj up. I imagine just a Sanj and Yasha. This is something YYF used to like doing on DK, where you go for a Sanj and Yasha build.
I like the Sanjin Yasha. I gotta say, Halberd is amazing against Gyro because it has that longer duration on ranged heroes, so that would also be good.
Yeah, it's a halberd. The main thing with halberd is you don't need it yet. I feel like if you want a halberd, you get it like 5 minutes from now, or maybe even 10 minutes from now.
I agree, but
Gyro's not
you always
hitting
feel like a jerk building 2 Sanjas, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm fine with the halberd. I feel like he could have gone for the assault cuirass first, some other item first, because right now Gyrocopter's not doing anything. So
I agree in some respect. You're absolutely right that right now Envy isn't contributing, but I like the attitude of how could we possibly lose this game?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because Gyro does too much damage. Well, we'll forestall that completely by getting this halberd.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll see Fnatic now, rotating bottom lane. There is a Mithril Hammer up on Envy, and uh-oh, Hani.
Oh, God.
He's gone in for a solo kill.
Hani might be a little too deep here. The Illusory Orb, he actually... he blinks to the top and pops the haster, and he gets away no problem. I thought that Illusory Orb was just a total waste, and that just proves that Hani is vastly better than I will ever be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he hits it, maybe he gets the kill, but he goes to the high ground and then just hastes his way out of there, but... That's, yeah, like you say, that's one of those things which your normal casual level player, myself included, would not think to do.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, his Illusory Orb is in the opponent's base, he's basically dead, and he's just like, actually, NP. Yep. Easy game, easy life. And Aghanim's pretty far along for No Tail, by the way, so that's gonna be, again, that's the sort of second timing push. Like, they used their first timing push to clear out every outer tower. The second timing push when Chen hits Ags, or even before if they secure another Roshan, is going to be high ground. And KP, before that happens, they must have more damage to layer onto an RP.
Yeah, we're now looking at 14k gold Fnatic lead, and I feel KP just don't have burst damage to really win fights quick enough. That's where the Ag Scepter is going to be a really big pickup. That short cooldown on the ultimate means, well, the fight goes on long enough, you'll get a second ulti in it.
Yeah. And they've got enough arcane boots that Chen will be replenished with enough mana. I mean, 4 arcanes, sorry. Goodness gracious. That's a pushing lineup when you have 4 arcane boots. And here's the thing, just to talk about the Helm of the Dom again. The problem is now Envy has no choice but to go BKB, but that was always the case. If he had already had the BKB, or if he was 1900 gold closer to it, he could now be building some form of damage that would help on top of an RP. And he just can't. He's still way behind. And the Helm of the Dom, all it's given him is one lousy stun on Era, which was good enough to take the Aegis off, and that's it.
Well, he still hasn't actually got his BKB. He picks up just a TP scroll. That was maybe his BKB flying out. And Fnatic, it looks like they're waiting maybe for Roshan to respawn, like you mentioned. Yeah. Once they have that, they can look to go high ground. On top of that, around that time, they'll have the Scythe of Vice for Puck, who's sitting at 3k gold, just needs another 600. And that's also, I imagine, is this Ag Scepter as well soon? Close.
He's got the Ogre Club. Oh no, that's Era.
That's not his. Okay, so not that close. Not as close as I thought. No. But hey, it's for Fnatic. It's 21 minutes in. If your Chen has Arcane Mech Ag Scepter, something's seriously wrong.
Something has gone very awry with this Dota game.
Yeah.
Bone 7, he's got his Blade Mail. This is okay until Era hits his BKB timing. This is actually quite good, but the problem is Era's decently on his way.
Yeah.
Who has their Helm of the Dom? Fanatics. Oh, it's just, sorry, I'm insane. They have Chen. Sorry. Goodness gracious. It's getting a little late.
That's right. Happens to the best of us.
That's okay. That's not the worst thing I've ever said, luckily. But it's up there. So Era, yeah, they're just going to secure this Roshan. Kaipi, it would be an even bigger mistake, in my opinion, to go for this one than the last one. They absolutely sort of have to let Fnatic have this Rosh, and just do their best to get Envy his BKB and some damage. He's finally done with the BKB. And now the question is, can he get any form of damage item in time for Fnatic to do the high ground push?
Yeah, Hammer will dominate a nice little small boost, plus 20 damage, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough in these team fights. He needs something like an MKB. And, well, I mean, this is another way of dealing with Envy. He's got the 10-second BKB for now. If he pops it before the Hex comes out, it's great, but this is going to be really difficult for him in these team fights. And you mentioned Gyrocopter, great against all these heroes late game. DK doesn't do well, but DK when he's got, what, double the net worth, maybe? Of the Gyrocopter?
No, it's not double. It's only 2k more, but...
I feel like a lot of the Gyrocopter's net worth has been, like, it's the Helm of the Dominator. It's been somewhat wasted, if anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, Goats. They're just going to, yeah, they'll take Roshan, and then they'll wait for Envy's, Era's next Dragon form, which is going to take a little while, but Fnatic have all the time in the world, honestly. They're playing patiently, and I like it. I would like to see them have a little more control over the map, just in terms of the fact that Envy, for instance, is pretty free reign of this jungle right now. If they had a few more wards here, they could actually just use Hani to oppress Envy even now. But still, they're going to take the Roshan. Their entire game plan is being enacted. And it's just a question of getting it done early enough before Kaipi can do any sort of turning action.
Yeah, and with Mech Pipe Aegis, I imagine they looked at start taking down some Raxes here. We are seeing KP try to get some more levels and items himself. The Nyx Assassin was actually farming like deep into the Fnatic neutrals. Just, I guess, deciding it's probably one of the safer places to be doing that, but...
It is. I mean, Envy, you can see he's trying. I don't think he can actually generate the tower trade here. Yeah, he can. They are keeping tabs on Fnatic's progress, but it's one thing to keep tabs on their progress. It's another thing to try
doing it. See a TP top in just a second. Yeah. Sure, they've just got the Aegis, but you don't have to go push right away. You can push out your lanes, get some more farm, and then go for the push, but no one TPing top just yet.
I'm intrigued by this Kaipi bringing extra people in. Okay, now Fnatic know arises here, but they don't care. 3 TPs in, and they're going to defend this tower.
Yeah, I don't think they look to chase. Actually, Hani doing just that. Is he going to go? He's got to blink back up now. He's also got the side device, so that's nice where smoke. If he gets the pick off. Ooh.
Really nice smoke, actually. Yeah. Defensive smoke from Kaipi to make it out of here. That's really smart, frankly. I think they were okay anyway, but it's just really smart play overall, really crisp play. I thought that what Kaipi were doing was trying to bait with Envy and keeping Arise a secret, but they correctly realized that they only had 3 there, and 3 versus 3 is not a fight you actually want to take right now as Kaipi because you have this level disadvantage across every single hero.
And the other thing is, Fnatic, I think that, like, you see a hero pushing at top lane, and you're like, Fnatic are thinking, hey, we want a 5-man push, but we got to defend top soon. They send DK. DK just TPs in. They can't really kill DK when he's got an Aegis, so...
No.
It's unlikely they actually look to gank Envy. It's more likely they just look to defend the tower, which they do.
Sure. And now this is an immensely tanky Dragon Knight. I mean, 26 armor and 2,000 HP without armlet to chew through. Not to mention, you can disarm your Gyrocopter so long as he doesn't have BKB up.
Yeah. And Gyrocopter's pushing out the top lane. Has got the TP scroll, but he wants to just be farming as much as possible and rely on his... Hope his teammates can just stall the push, which with Rocket Barrage spam, Shockwave spam, maybe they can a little bit.
It's tough. They actually kind of need the flak.
Yeah. Well, flak kind of means he has to be getting, in range and putting himself in danger, which is really the big issue there.
Oh, here we go. Fnatic are up on the high ground. Era has gone to Dragon Form. The Fortify is popped. That Ion Shell just sitting on the tail of the dragon, and he's on high ground. They've actually popped a disruption on 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. We could see something like those 9 stacks of Shadow Poison that we had the other day, and that would pop Era, actually. Keep in mind, he does not have BKB, so Fnatic have to be careful about how long Era actually stays up here. They have popped Soul Catcher as well. Whoa. 6 stacks. There we go! There's the Aegis. I was telling you, man. Get up there. That was actually a free Aegis given away by Fnatic, but they've done a decent amount of damage to the tower. Actually, I would say that was kind of a tactical mistake.
Yeah, I don't think Fnatic needed to hang around to take that much damage. And they get the T3 down to half HP, and that's with an Aegis. It's not a good move for them to wait another 8-9 minutes for the next Roshan before they try and push again. They need to make something happen now. And with no Aegis, with the inability to 5-man push, that's going to have to come from pushing out lanes and then going for smoke ganks, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And they lost a tower, too. They lost the tier 2 tower in that time. And Envy, he's starting to get some. By the way, I really like that Envy is buying out. I was about to say, like, I don't think he should hold buyback. They're behind enough that he sort of needs to go big or go home. And it does look like the Butterfly, which is certainly going big.
Well, having the evasion against this DK will definitely help quite a lot. Also, the attack speed as well gives him some strong DPS.
Of course, he's got to get to that Eagle Song, which is a long way away. But Kaipi really good there. And the thing is, Shadow Demon is not an amazing anti-pusher against creeps, just because Shadow Poison takes too long to stack up against creeps. But he's a great anti-pusher against heroes. Oh, this could be a problem for Kaipi, actually. They're smoked up, but they don't have a Rise. I don't trust their ability to finish out a teamfight without a Rise. And Fnatic... I don't know if they know. We actually have 2 smoked teams and a couple of unsmoked heroes. Fly is desmoked. Bone 7 is being out. Oh man, the Fiend's Grip. This is not the start of the fight that Kaipi wanted. This is basically a dead Clockwork. Yeah, trivial easily to bring him down. Very unfortunate. Just losing the Clockwork basically for nothing.
Yeah, losing Clockwork for almost nothing in return. And, well, that's kind of what Fnatic want here. While they're not actually able to push together, if they can get whatever pickoffs they can, like that, they'll happily take them.
Oh yeah, and Ag Scepter done on No-Tail. That actually gives them a lot more muscle for the high ground push. I don't think they necessarily need Aegis now. They'll probably be comfortable with doing it with the Ags.
Yeah. Well, they're going down mid lane, and BKB DK basically is sort of, I guess, a mini substitute for the Aegis, and I think they should be able to at least get a tier 3 tower here as a result.
I can't imagine they don't bring down the tier 3. It's only at 600. The question is how deeply they pay for it. If they pay a lot for it, then maybe it's not worth it. If they manage to get the Raxes, or here goes the pipe. I mean, Fnatic, they're in. They're going. They will high ground right now. Era is surged in, but Kaipi, smart. They're hanging back as much as possible. They do not have the Fortify or anything remotely resembling it. There's the disruption. They're trying to repeat the same trick with Zissou, but there goes the tier 3. Fnatic, they pop off the Chen ultimate. We'll have to wait 60 seconds for the next one. Era actually is disrupted, or rather he's purged, but Surge gets him on out of there. Darkseer so good against that purge. And I think his Shadow Poison sticks will drop off. Oh man, Arise actually stunned out. This could be a disaster! The vacuum, the wall, the Dream Coil, and Arise is on the ground. He has to buy back immediately. Bone 70 has his Blade Mail, but unfortunately it's not enough. He dies as well. Does he have buyback? No. Does Zissou have buyback? Not quite. And Fnatic, they might try to
no!
Oh man, the RP! That's a huge mistake. He's actually Fiend's Grip as well. Arise is down, and that's it. Kaipi, they will lose Rax, the RP. Completely flubbed, unfortunately, from Arise, and that is the critical error, perhaps a fatal error, as Fnatic seek to take advantage of it with Rax to be cleared out.
That's disastrous. Both times Mag getting just sort of isolated by Fnatic, and Fnatic, their position was just so good. They don't have to group up together. We have just a really clean spread. DK in the front lines, and if DK ever gets in trouble, it's an immediate surge out by the Darkseer. He gets disrupted purge, Darkseer surges there to save him. So really nice play from Fnatic in that fight.
A much cleaner game from Fnatic right there in that second push. Bone 7 tries to get in, but at this point, I feel like they just don't have the muscle. They needed the RP and the damage. Envy is actually close to the damage, but now no RP. And Fnatic, they can walk away freely from this. They have their ultimates are lower cooldown. They've got the Raxes, and that's really all they wanted. Sooner or later, they're going to do the second push.
Yeah, and this is a really good use of their time. They get pickoffs, they get a mid-set of Raxes. If they really want, they can wait for Roshan for the next push, but considering that's 4 minutes away, I imagine they just don't let up. They've got themselves an advantage. They don't want to give KP any space to get that damage item up on Envy, because that's the one thing which could cause them to lose. That combined with a big Mag RP.
Yeah, the thing is, it has to be RP and Gyro. There is no way that RP alone or Gyro alone is going to do it. And unfortunately, that means that Kaipi have a pretty narrow margin of error here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're a professional team. I mean, they're used to playing with low margins of error, but it's pretty low. They've got to get Envy this, finish off this Battle Fury if they can. Battle Fury. Butterfly, if they can, before the next push. And Fnatic, they don't seek to give them that time. They seek to pressure, especially, I like pushing this middle in. They're not intending to push the tier 4s. All they're doing is presenting these low bounty creeps for Kaipi to have to deal with.
Yeah, and as much as KP, it's low margin of error. Even if they play this perfectly from here on out, it's still only a 5% chance or something to win this game, I feel. They're 20k gold behind. XP is even worse. You've got Fnatic who can, if they want to play it safe, they sit back, wait for Roshan to respawn, grab themselves Aegis and Cheese, I want to say this time.
It's going to be Cheese, yeah.
How do you defend against that? Fnatic can even have buybacks on top. They've got such a big item lead. Puck, what is that? 3k gold now as well. It's you can play this perfectly, and chances are you lose, but you've just still got to play it. Play for that small chance that you may have that comeback. Definitely. Divine Rapier, even on Gyrocopter, always sort of the ultimate comeback material.
Now that he has the Talisman of Evasion... Actually, no, I guess he could still just use Talisman and then go for the Rapier. I would say, Gods, that actually their best chance of winning, even though it is I mean, as you said, it's a small chance, is to try to disrupt the next Roshan. Because I agree with you, defending Rax is one thing. Defending Rax against a team that has Aegis and Cheese, and your major way of winning a teamfight is one-shot, i.e. reverse polarity, is nigh impossible. But what they can do is kill all of Fnatic while they still don't have that Aegis and Cheese. And to do that, I think they need to win the next Roshan engagement.
Yeah, and it's going to take a big risk, and it's at this point... You mentioned playing flawlessly, but if you sit back and play flawlessly, I imagine you lose. I think it's better off they go for something which is really risky and could make them look kind of bad. Like we've seen Mag miss RPs, get caught out of position. Same for Gyrocopter. But that's the kind of play you have to make a decision. Say, hey, look, we could play a flawless defensive game, but we're going to lose. Let's try and play a once-in-a-lifetime offensive game where, hey, if we lose, we kind of look bad, but it's better off we go out like that.
Absolutely, and I think that's what this Blink from Nyx signals, because Blink, not a tremendously defensive stand-and-deliver item, but what it does do is give you that potential to initiate. And Pylai Dai so far, at least in this series, and I mean, all credit due to Arise, but Pylai Dai has really been a better initiator. Like, his line stunts have been really critical. If he can set up a position where Arise can't fail with the RP, then that's a fight that I think Kaipi can win, again, provided they don't give up the next Roshan, and provided Envy doesn't get caught out in his jungle here.
Well, Envy with a solid amount of gold, and I think it's like you say, like he can't just save for buyback. It's a losing strategy, but he's going to get caught out. Buyback is there.
Will the Fiend's Grip hit? He's actually doing a good job of line of sighting so far. Fly, he can't find the angle.
Pylai die?
Oh, Pylai die, come on. Yes, he gets it. Wow. Fnatic actually, they thought the entire team was there. They thought all of Kaipi was there.
They're like, okay, we found this gyrocopter. Let's be careful, because who knows how many are here, but...
Oh, man. Oh, if you're Kaipi, you thank your lucky stars.
Envy is probably thinking, oh shit, we've lost. Well, no, not that we've lost. He's got buyback, but he's thinking, oh shit, that's like a terrible pick-off to happen.
Actually,
at this
if
point.
he has to buy back, I would say that they did lose, because he doesn't have Eagle Song or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fnatic just, I mean, it was a guess, right? It was like, does he have backup or doesn't he? Is he really stupid enough to get caught out this way or isn't he? And they guessed wrong. But here we go, Roshan. I do agree with you that this is incredibly consequential. If they get this and Kaipi have no response, and Kaipi don't even know it's happening, but they have to have the timer. Time's ticking away on the Roshan. He's at 7k HP.
Maybe see a rocket fly in a second, but it's too late. Medallion gonna make it faster. Yeah,
they added Medallion on Chen just for a faster Rosh.
Helmet of the Dominator on DK, so he adds lifesteal to the mix, additional armor and damage, and well, no answer from KP right now.
I don't like that. I think they should have just gone all in. And the cheese probably going to be on Trixie if I had to guess. Yeah, here he comes to pick it up. And so 2 lives on the Dragon Knight, essentially 2 lives on the Darkseer. Shiva's Guard complete. Medallion and Aghanims on Chen. It's kind of a litany of items. The only person that doesn't really have anything useful is Fly, but he's not even that far from BKB. I don't think he'll hit it before this game ends, but just the fact that I'm saying this game is inside of ending is probably not great. It's not a great sign.
Puck 4.5k gold. It's really incredible what we could see. Like, grab a Necro 3 to help push. Grab it. Just...
Sure.
Well, I guess not. You don't want to go Necro 3 against a Gyrocopter with Helmet of the Dominator. That's probably one of the worst choices you could go. But grab whatever it may be. We'll see Hani picking it up fairly soon.
Yeah, I can't believe Hani hasn't died. I haven't looked at the KDA in a while. Just look at the difference between these two support gods. They're almost mirror images of each other. 705 versus 076, and that really tells the tale. I said that, I mean, we both said that Hani was sort of the wild card in this game, and Hani's been huge.
Yeah, Arise, he's had some great games on the Mag, but looking back at WePlay, where KP qualified, he played fantastic, but here they're just being slightly outclassed.
Yeah. Era, he's got the Frost Dragon form, he's level 17, holding the Aegis up on the high ground. Again, copping some stacks of the Shadow Poison, but playing a little more defensively this time. Zissou, my god, he's just taking so much creep damage from those mid-creeps. It's the mid-lane creeps they percolated over. Zissou might drop, actually, and that gives them no tools against Era. Ooh, they turn it around, they managed to pick off Hani. Finally, he has a death. A little bit late on the heal from Chen there, and nice hook shot. Will they turn this around? Can they turn this around? Envy pops the BKB. The call down comes down. Shiva's hits on nothing. But Era, he's pretty beefy in his own right. He's turning it around. Zissou with a defensive disruption on himself. This still seals. Oh, nice. Vacuum to the low ground. Zissou, no buyback for the Shadow Demon. And Hani, he bought back. He's just pushing the back. He bought back and bought Boots of Travel, and Pylai dies on the ground. Gems on the ground. Era gets the double kill. They're probably going to pick up the tier 3 tower here if I had to guess. I think they've got it. Keep in mind, he still has the Aegis. And so Fnatic, they're just brute forcing this down. It's not pretty. It's actually not that well executed, but it does the job.
That puck pick-off especially was just dreadful. I mean, I don't mean to call out pro players, but he just blinked right into the worst possible position.
Yeah.
He got really greedy looking for the Shadow Demon who we saw taking creep, and he's like, oh, free kill, let's go look for this kill, but he completely messed it up, and as soon as he came out of his phase shift, he just got burst down.
That was definitely a mistake, but that's when that 5k comes into play. He had enough money to just buy back, buy boots, and
look at it, Clockwork with the 4 braces.
Yeah, exactly. They gave cheese to Era. He's back to full, and that lets them go back in so much earlier than they otherwise would have to. Call down actually misses. Era in the corner. He is cornered in. Good RP actually on 3. Will it be enough? No! Arise gets silenced before he can possibly skewer back up. Big vacuum, and Era still up, beating down on Arise. Arise will go down, Envy having to flee. He's got his BKB in 1 second. It's not fast enough, and he doesn't have buyback. That's it. They GG out, and I mean, they have nothing. Kaipi have been bled dry completely by Fnatic, and that'll be them taking game 3.
Fnatic, they've done it. They overcome KP, and KP, I mean, they took a game, they pulled out some big Ursa plays. They really played some ballsy Dota here. Game 3, very standard draft, but game 1 and 2, both games with an Ursa, so hats off to KP. Look forward to seeing more of them, and they go up against Liquid next, and if I'm putting money on that match, I'm actually maybe thinking about betting on KP.
I mean, honestly, yeah, they looked
The way
very
they're playing.
good. They're good coordination, and I feel like maybe they have the right tools to contest Liquid. Because Liquid, amazing individual talent. There's few positions at which I would rate a KP player like on pure raw talent against TL. But TL, sometimes in team fights, in big 5v5 engagements, they look a little sloppy, and I actually think that's where Kaipi do very, very well. So, I don't know, it'll definitely be an exciting matchup. When will we actually see that, Gods?
That match will be on right next. Well, for those of you watching the live broadcast, that match is coming up following this one, which is in about, I guess, I don't know, depending on how the timing works. Man, this is fucking hard.
The entire edifice of this being a live cast just crumbles around.
I remember LD flaming. LD, for those of you guys tuning in, LD was flaming me. He's like, for one, it's a replay broadcast, and you're doing a VOD cast for a replay already. So it's like a recording. It's a non-live recording of a already non-live match, and
right.
As a result,
we were doing so well at keeping the artifice up until I asked the fateful question: when is the next game?
I wish I had like a time I could be like, oh, it's at this time, and then I'm fine. But because I'm like, oh, it's in X amount of minutes. But it's at the normal time for G1 League to start, which is 16 Singapore time, so 4 p.m. Singapore time, which is 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for you Americans, or 1 a.m. Pacific Time. European Time, I don't freaking know. Figure it out yourself. That's coming up next, guys. So sometime in the next, I would say 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what time this game ended.
Right.
But yeah, that's coming up next. And then following that match, we have got ourselves our other loser bracket match, which is going to be Dignitas up against Mouse Sports. Both those games are elimination matches. So loser bracket matches, you lose, you're out. You're not going to China.
Bleak.
Yeah, it's how things crumble today. But KP are looking decent. They're going to be playing another best of 3. They're not going to be tied because, as I said, this was a replay cast. This was played yesterday. Both teams actually know they're going up against. I imagine Liquid were told. It would be kind of unfair if they weren't, considering the fact that KP know who they're going to be going up against and can prepare. Yeah. So I imagine Liquid were told who they're going to be versing. So all said and done, we're done. I think LD will be casting that one. I actually don't know. I may still be casting, but Let's later on tonight. Any last words, Vikramont?
No. Fantastic series. Thanks for inviting me on. It was very fun. I'm going to go basically straight to bed because I'm casting in God knows how long, but at 1900 SGT time. We have VG versus Orange, I think. All
right. Sounds good, man. Thanks for tuning in. You guys, if you liked Vikramont's casting, be sure to follow him on Twitch, YouTube, on Twitter. He's Vikramont absolutely everywhere. VYKRO. MOND. I'm BTS Gods on Twitter. Be sure to follow me there. As well as on Facebook. I'm facebook.com/GGNetGods. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned. There's another best of 3 coming up soon. KPL losers here will be going up against Team Liquid, fighting for their own survival. That's it from us, guys. See you next time.